Hey everyone, welcome to Anime Nan. Today we are diving deep into the highly anticipated release of Kai no Kiseki Farewell of Zemuria on November 26, 2024. As a huge fan, I've been eagerly awaiting this game, and I'm excited to share my wishlist of story and gameplay that I hope to see to be included in the game. So, a little mandatory background. Kai no Kiseki is the 13th mainline series game for the Trail series and will be the next step in the covered arc, and it will take place in the May of 1209 of the Septian calendar. So, this game will take place almost after the Kuro no Kiseki 2 or Daybreak 2 in English, so this video will contain big spoiler for the covered arc. This is your warning, if you haven't finished the game, please play it, it's a good game. Okay, so for this video, I will separate it into two parts. The story that I wish they delve more and gameplay feature that I hope will be in the game. This video will not cover theory or what if or possibility but more of topic that I want in the game or question that I want to be answered. First, for the story part, there are several major and moderate storylines that I wish they will explore more. First, for the elephant in the room, is the genesis and the Professor Epstein prediction regarding the end of everything. Since Kuro 1, the genesis have been a major focus of the story, with every incident tied to them. We know they have supernatural power that rivals the Divine Beast or even the Septarian, but we know so little about them. The only clue that we know is the genesis are used as a basis for creating orbal spell. They are able to meddle with the world, and they are tools to observe the humanity scenes. Besides that, Professor Epstein also warned that all the Genesis must be recovered by their owner by 12:00X, or the world will end. While this warning sometimes comes up again in the game, it has never been explored further due to the Genesis being used for multiple incidents, and recovering the Genesis is the theme of the two Kuro games. Now that all the Genesis are recovered by the Kuro 2, there are several questions raised. Questions like, what is the purpose of the Genesis? Cause observing humanity scenes did not make much sense. How Genesis able to do otherworldly phenomena? How Epstein's able to make the Genesis? What happened in 12:00X that needs the Genesis? And why the Genesis reacted to Agnes? And so on. Recovering Genesis is only the first step to unlock their mystery, and I believe the Genesis will be a major plot point for Kai no Kiseki, and I hope they will explain everything or at least significant questions that we have to them, considering in the game opening we have several masked people that have masks with the Genesis symbol. Second is the spaceship and Grimheart plan. The new Calvard's President plan have been teased since the end of Trails into Reverie, and it's been hinted at multiple times during Kuro 1 and Kuro 2, but we know almost nothing about it. We know that it involved building the Zeku space base in Longline Mountain region to send a spaceship with a mech to space, and Hermes will be the one that will pilot it. Besides that, we are still in the dark. Other interesting thing that I want to focus are the Grimheart and Hermes relationship. What makes Hermes so special and chosen to be the pilot, and why the spaceship must be launched during 12:09, the time that matched with the warning of Professor Epstein for recovering the Genesis. During Kuro 1 and Kuro 2, we know that Grimheart as president, he is an ex-military person with a strong will and did not fear to let his hands dirty. Even at the end of Reverie, the Society's Grandmaster praised his bold negotiation to even rival Osborne. But we also see him as a father. While he seems cold and doesn't care about Agnes, there are times when it's shown a glimpse that he actually cares about her. Based on Agnes' story, we know that Grimheart is not always the cold father, but after he joins politics, he distancing himself to Agnes, to even make Agnes change her last name, so something must have happened. Whatever his plan and reason, my biggest wishlist for Grimheart is for him to have a heart-to-heart moment with Agnes and have a father-daughter moment. Third is the Society's plan and the Marduk's true endgame goal. From the secret scene of Cold Steel 4, we have known that the Ouroboros Secret Society have moved on to their third phase of their Orpheus final plan, named the Eternal Recurrence Plan. Since then, Ouroboros have been very passive and did not do any move due to their agreement that they have with President Grimheart in Reverie to not interfere with each other. And now, the time of agreement has ended and all hell can let loose. After that, we have almost no information regarding the Ouroboros activity. In Kuro 1, we see that the fourth Anguish, Elroy Harwood, the Oathbreaker, in covered, but sadly it did not shed any new information, and he is there more of a personal reason, which is to enjoy the festival created by Gerard Dantes and member of the Garden. Meanwhile, in Kuro 2, we see a glimpse of more of Ouroboros, but at that point, the Oathbreaker is betraying the society to join the Garden Master Plan by disobeying the Grandmaster and stealing the supercomputer that is made by Novartis. After that, the last information that we got is the last two members of the Garden, Ix and Yolda, are taken by the Oathbreaker and become the Enforcer number 20. Now that Ouroboros have finally joined the fight again, it will be very interesting to see how they will interact with President Grimheart's plan and get their revenge on Marduk. Marduk itself is a big mystery since their first appearance. Not only they have the military force that rivals the army, they also have technology that rivals the society. They even managed to force stop the Elysium simulation that is done by Novartis and hack into the Celestial Globe to help Grimheart's negotiation with the Grandmaster. Their technology is something that needs to be reckoned and feared due to not only they have also the co-founder of Sypha and Shards, which is shown to be more than just a normal battle ornament. They also have managed to create a virtual reality and crisis management AI that is somehow able to predict a disaster that will happen. If we remember that back in the Reverie, Lapis says that it will take humanity tens, hundreds, or even thousands of years to have the technology that can predict the future like Elysium. But somehow, Marduk have almost reached that point by just 2 years. There is so much that we do not know about the Society's plan and Marduk, but we can expect a three-way battle between the Ouroboros, Grimheart, and Marduk, and the result will change the history of Zemuria. The fourth story point that I wish to be explored is about the Septarian and the 5 Demon Lords. Septarian have been a major plot point for each arc and the center of Ouroboros' plan, where Ouroboros have been gathering their Septarian in some capacity. Where in Liber they have the real Aureole, in Crossspell Duology they managed to get Kia schematic which contain the Demiurgos, and in Reverie they have the Great One simulation which contains the Earth and Fire Septarian. But in Kafar 2 Kuro games, we have not even heard a whisper about them. There's no mention or anything regarding Kafar Septarian. While the Septarian itself is a major plot point, we barely even know about them, besides they are from Hades and they have otherworldly power. Instead of Septarian, in Kafar we are introduced with the 5 Demon Lords that sits as the king of Gehenna and wants to destroy the world. We know one is the Blue and Black King that resides inside Van and sealed in the space between dimensions. But after Kuro 2, their stories are mostly dropped and never really mentioned or play a big part. With Ouroboros focusing on their plan again, Septarian will again play a big part of it. But sadly so far, it has not been known how far or how will they to form. Same with the Demon Lords, where it's hard to see how they will be the part in the conflict between the societies Grimheart and Marduk. But I wish they will introduce the Demon Lords slowly and one by one, just like how they introduced the Septarian. Fifth is the Aycliffe One Blade's journey. Since the start of Trail series, Aycliffe has always been taking part from minor part in Sky in Annales, Richard and Cassius, to a more major part in Arios in Crossbow Duology, in Drain in Cold Steel series, and lastly the newest one in Shizuna in Calvard. And finally we'll be able to see the creator, Yun Kafai in Kai no Kiseki. We know that Aycliffe leads are based on multiple techniques from the Far East by Master Yun, and we've been knowing them since the very beginning. So I expect we will see the Aycliffe to play a part in some minor to moderate capacity, to mention the long-awaited Rain Shizuna duel and and Master Yun duel. Last story aspect that I want to explore is the church plan. The Septim Church is the main religion in Zemuria, and they have so many secrets on their own. They mostly just passively collecting artifacts and help the main character to save the world, but never really explored. In covered Kuro games, we have explored the more we learn that there are multiple divisions inside the church and each of their division clash with each other. Not only that, in Kuro 2, we are introduced with Nina Fenli, the Saint of the End, that become an important figure for the Septian Church. There are so many theories that fly around regarding Nina and Septian Church right now that I won't explore due to the lack of evidence, but based on the game opening, we can see that the church finally started moving. We finally able to get a glimpse of the truth about the Septian Church, the Dark Age, and the fate of Zemuria. And that's all 6 story elements that I want to be explored in Kai no Kiseki. While it is impossible for all of them to be explored fully in this game, I want for the game to explore those story elements in some degree, whether it's minor or hinting about the future game. Now onward for the gameplay section. Due to the Kai no Kiseki nature that use Kuro as their base gameplay, with Kai no Kiseki special twist, I won't ask for some impossible nature. This is more of an quality of life aspect that I wish in the game to enhance the player experience to enjoy the game. First is for more minigames. The minigames have been always a part of the Trail series and become some of the fan favorites. But sadly in Kuro 1 they removed it and resulted in some player disappointment. They improved it and give us 3 minigames at Kuro 2, which are 7 Hearts, basketball, and fishing. While the fishing is an improvement from previous incarnation, the 7 Hearts are too RNG and basketball become tired real quick. I wish they will add not only more minigames but also higher quality for players to enjoy, like in Referee, they add Magical Alisa and Beach Fakai. Second is better game rebalance for the action and turn-based section. Some of the action gameplay have some character with clearly not as enjoyable as the other, whether regarding attack, timing, and dodge like Quatre, Zin, and Burgard. For the turn-based, there are some problems regarding shields and arch. The shields are too strong. Kuro 2 remedied this a bit by increasing their cost, but they are still too strong, while arch needs too much investment and high-level spell that took a while to get to be decently good. Especially the buff spell, which suffers the most due to the arrival of auto skill from shards, making them not very useful. A simple change in number will do wonders to improve the gameplay. And last is better environment to explore. Calvard is a real nice place to explore, and thanks to the new engine, there are many improvements to the field. But sadly, some part of the field still suffer from bad design choice, like Tarbat Desert, which is empty, and Merchant Garden, that did not have much variation, and terrible color choice, with making them tiring real quick. While I do not mind a big landscape place like Tarbat, more landmark and more terrain variation will help a lot, just like in North Highland. Instead of just straight empty desert, some cliff or wall that needs the player to go around will make them feel better. For the Grim Garden that will become the new Market Garden, more templates or seed variation for the map will be really useful. Instead of running the same map 3 times in a row, Some slight variation like river to block the passage, or mountain or small houses in a couple places like in Atelier series will improve the Grim Garden by miles. And that's all my wishlist for Kai no Kiseki. There are plenty of other things that I wish will be in the game, but I managed to focus it only to several topics. With Kai no Kiseki having the second biggest script in the series, I expect what's on my wishlist will be in the game to some degree. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll be playing Kai no Kiseki from day one. I'll be posting my progress in my Twitter and the game story in my YouTube. Bye bye.